Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Normally at 7 o'clock, I have conversations. Today, I have a conversation with Tiny but Fierce, but I forgot I changed it to 8 o'clock. I just forgetful lately, so she'll be here at 8 o'clock. So I didn't want to waste. Now, of course, as soon as I go live, I got to sneeze. So I didn't want to waste the 7 o'clock slot, and I got a big stack of comics that I can't put away until I do a what you're reading. So inspired by Chuck Dixon, my buddy Chuck Dixon, or I'm his buddy. Uh, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk about the comics that I've read since the last time I did a what you're reading. Now I've been off work for the past 5 weeks. This week I barely read any comics because I've been doing my online certifications, 40 hours of online classes. Oh, geez. I've been out of work for 5 weeks for furlough, feeling fine. And then the past couple of days, I've been sitting in this chair for like 18 hours a day trying to bust out this certification. And I throw my back out sitting in a chair. Oh my God, such pain. Going to the chiropractor tomorrow. Okay, so let's check out the comments. First off, this is an open invite. It's always fun to talk with people. So if anybody wants to come in, pop in. You know, this is the link to my comic that's still available on Fund My Comic. Who knows how long this link is going to be active? I'm going to be pulling it down when I put up the campaign for issue number 2, because there's going to be changes and stuff like that. Let's take a sip of coffee. Oh, good stuff. This is in my Halloween Head Comics mug. Give them a little advertisement. Master Hobo says, Ghost Machine. I'm driving. So this is Red Coat by Ghost Machine. I only read 1 and 2. I missed 3 for whatever reason. When I buy new comics, I go to the discount comic book service and I place in an order once a month. Sometimes I forget. Usually when I get my box of comics, I call up my monthly visitor, I break it open, and I do a video on that. And then as soon as I'm done, I order. Sometimes I forget. I'm getting very forgetful. So I was missing number 3. I think I've up to 7, but I can't read it because I have to read them in order, and I can't read it if I miss the comic. Hey, Joe Dog. So now I could finally go ahead and continue reading Red Coat. I'm liking everything by Ghost Machine. I will probably think, oh, and Master Hobo took the words right out of my mouth, that right now Ghost Machine is the really the only exciting thing in comics as far as I know. It's the only exciting thing in comics that people seem to be talking about. That and Mark Miller's comics, the Millerverse, and Ghost Machine. So what is Ghost Machine? It's by Image Comics, so it's an imprint within Image Comics. That's Jeff Johns. It's Jeff Johns and all of his buddies that he likes to work with. So like if Jeff Johns just started his own imprint and hired all of his buddies, and they make great comics. So there you go. There's that. All right, this is the Unbreakable Argonauts #1. This is by Ashley Land. He's been on my channel a few times. This is a crowd-funded comic. I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to get this glare out of here, but this is crowd-funded only. Ashley's Argonauts by Argonaut Comics. It's really good. Look at this cover. There's something about World War II and superheroes that just goes together like chocolate and peanut butter. So I love the designs of his heroes. This guy, Captain, I think his name is Captain Thunder. Just so good. All right. Marcus says, yay, Ashley. Yep. So there you go. I agree. Oh, that's right. Marcus is doing a cover for him for I think a magazine. This is Beyond Real. This is for 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is Vault Comics. I think they just launched with a stunt, and they just, like, I didn't order Beyond Real #1. It just came in my monthly box of comics. So that happens every once in a while. There's a couple of comics that they just throw in there, and I think what like Vault and a couple of other startup companies they do is they just pay and give everybody a comic. Just it's kind of a clever way, because it got me to. I saw that there was only 5 issues, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna order and then I'm gonna read it. Issue 1, I really liked. It was, woman takes like psychotic drugs or psychotropic drugs, and then like sees the machine elves beyond reality, and I thought that was an interesting topic. But I got it. So I was really looking forward to 2, 3, 4, 5, and it just fell flat. Just fell flat. Like, I don't know if Vault Comics is still in business. I don't know if they came and went, but I mean, it wasn't bad, just wasn't good. I guess I got my hopes up too much. That's on me. That's on me. Uh, Marcus, don't you're driving? Don't get on your phone. I did a cover. I think I'm doing a story. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Marcus is a good comic book artist. This is Batwoman. I think this is the last issue of the run that I really like. J.H. Williams, and the team is under the sticker up here, and I can't recall the name of the team, but this has just been consistent quality, just really good. They just switched in Detective Comics over to Batwoman, and I almost quit. I'm like, I'm getting Detective Comics for Batman, not Batwoman, but the art drew me in. This is a perfect example of the art draws you in, but then the writing keeps you. Yes, Master Hobo. Catwoman of this area is great. We'll call it, but it was great. It's great story and art. Batwoman. Yes, this was good. This was good. Now, yes, everything's woke, everything's whatever, but it's she's a lesbian. She's dating Maggie Sawyer. I think they get married, but it's really good with her own interesting cast of characters. Nothing like the TV show. The TV show is garbage. Forget the TV show. Forget the TV show. This was really good. Now, I think this was the last issue of this run. You'll probably see other issues, and the art changes. They just changed the team. They didn't even finish the story. Like, literally, she got duped by the DEO. Like, there's a whole bunch of like around 2005, 2010, there was like a whole little corner of DC that I was fascinated by. Like, there was a comic called Manhunter by Mark Adretko, I think his name was, and then these tie in all these characters with there was another character called Chase. She was a DEO agent who had the ability to turn off superpowers, so she became like a super federal cop or whatever. And then for whatever reason, Mr. Bones, a lame Z-list villain from Infinity Incorporated, became the head of the DEO, and I still don't know how that happened. If anybody knows, if there's a comic that explains how he went from a joke of a villain to like the head of like a NSA, FBI, CIA type organization. But I always liked that little group. And then she's working for that group to take out Batman. And then the next issue, it never happened. They changed the team in the middle of a story. So apparently, they said that they made a Batwoman annual after the fact to finish that story. So that's coming up. Okay, this was Damage Control, the movie. I saw that I had 1 and 2, and I just didn't have 3 and 4, so I got these because got to have a run. Got to finish a run. It's humor. It's I really like the concept of Damage Control, like the construction workers in a world of superheroes. It's just such a cool idea, but I don't know. They devolved it into jokey humor. Catwoman of the Batwoman woke. We'll call it woke, but it wasn't great. Great story, and great art. Yes, Batwoman. Okay, Blue Boy. It's a new name. How you doing? Okay, because the TV show really. Yes, I totally get you. And like I said, she debuted in Detective Comics. They just swapped out Batman for Batwoman, but the creative team was so good that I was like, oh, okay, I'll stick around. I mean, you can have a lesbian character without it being woke. It's possible. And like Manhunter had a Obsidian, who was Alan Scott's son, Todd Rice. The guy was a cipher. He was in Infinity Incorporated. They always portrayed him as awkward and shy, and had like bad dates with girls. And never instigated. They always set him up with girls. Always ended, and he just showed up at a barbecue with the boyfriend. They didn't make a big deal about it, but like there are gay people in real life. You know what I mean? So just having a gay person doesn't mean it's woke. Woke is like Mary Sue storytelling and stuff like that. But the Batwoman, once the art team changed, it lost a lot of the luster for me. And this is just, look how bad this is. This is just so bad. My friend Lissa gave me a stack of comics, a lot of 90s Image comics, so I had to fill in the gaps. And like I say, with a lot of these, Image Comics was just a poster company. The stories didn't matter. It was just literally it's just, sorry, Rob Liefeld, this is garbage. It's reading it is the same as not reading it. Okay, this is Kick-Ass 3. It's funny, I had like a visceral reaction to Kick-Ass when it first came out. I really didn't like it. Like, I'm talking before, like once they announced it in the premise, and I was like, oh man. But I bought it because at the time I was buying like almost everything. And we forget that Icon Comics was an imprint within Marvel. So it was like a Marvel type comic. So I bought it, but man, it is so good. It is so good. And I have just a huge stack of Mark Miller comics that I didn't read yet. So he's on my channel, so I feel like I owe it to him to read. But man, I read this in one sitting, all 8 issues. It was so good. So good. So here's 2. So this is Kick-Ass 3, number 2. Kick-Ass 3, number 3. Just so good. It's so good that you'll see later on that I'm rereading Kick-Ass 1 because Kick-Ass 3 was so good. This I just did on Sunday Comics, one of my favorite single issues of all time. Master Hobo says, Rob Liefeld is now angry with you. No interview. Yeah. I asked him a few times. I'll add Kick-Ass to my list since I never read it. It really is good. But be warned, it's violent, curse words, it is really good. Random Booby says, Rob Liefeld was an interesting experimental artist, but not a great writer. Yeah, I'll go on record and say that most Image Comics, until they started hiring actual writers, were just posters, poster books. Now this is Evil Eye by Richard Sala. This is number 9. There's 13 issues in the series. Brian Bauer introduced me to this. I absolutely love it. There's 2 stories in every issue. The first is the Reflections in a Glass Scorpion. It's just a mystery. It's a mystery story that's winding down now. Like there's only, this is number 9, so there's 10, 11, 12, 13, 4 more issues left. And then the second is just Pelucula. I think that's how Peculia. I don't know how to say her name, but it's just this girl, Peculia, wandering around getting into hijinks. And that is just so cute. There's like no through story. It's just her barefoot walking around and craziness encounters. Mark says Peculia, the art style and everything is very, very inspiring for his series, Wolf and Batsy. But I got to say, I like them both. I really like Reflections of a Glass Scorpion, and I really, really like Peculia. You could get the whole thing collected in a Fantagraphics thing, but I got to get the floppies because I'm a crazy person. All right, these are okay. Agents of Atlas. Okay, this is I thought that Agents of Atlas and Sentry were like the last good things to come out of Marvel, as far as I know. Again, I quit Marvel in 2015, so I loved the first couple of miniseries of Agents of Atlas. The Agents of Atlas the whole premise was they took Atlas Comics, which was Marvel Comics in the 50s. They took all their characters and then formed a team. So superheroes that existed before Marvel Comics. So if for those of you keeping record, Marvel Comics was called Timely Comics in the 40s. It was Atlas Comics in the 50s, and then I I think it wasn't even Marvel Comics until like issue 2 or 3 of the Fantastic Four. It was Marvel Comics. So they took Gorilla Man, Venus, Jimmy Woo, characters that existed in the 50s, and Marvel Boy, and and the Human Robot, and they put them all on the team. And then, the only glaring mistake was the 3D Man, and they didn't put him on the team. And they just went and had this great, and Namora, and had this great set of adventures, great art, great story. And then they decided that this was going to be the corner for Asian segregation characters. So they didn't specifically say that those characters are gone. They're just saying that this Atlas organization is so big, and they got every Asian character, and they didn't. To me, like the whole premise of Atlas is that they use the Atlas characters from the 50s. Just because Jimmy Woo is their leader and Atlas's headquarters is in China, it has to be like the segregation corner of all the Asian characters. And I like that they were fighting Cinder, the daughter of Surtur, and everything, but I don't know. It's not the characters that I liked. Art was really good, but here are the characters. The Asian Hulk, and now they even say that he's a Hulk. He's a Hulk, So it's just like it dilutes the uniqueness of the other characters. Like the Hulk is so cool. Now there's other Hulks. If there's other Hulks, if everybody's a Hulk, then nobody's a Hulk. Spider-Gwen, or Silk rather. Aerial, I forget even their names. Tidal Wave, and they're all Asian characters. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just they're all segregated on, and they even have an Asian artist and an Asian writer. That was full on the SJW years. There's a reason why I quit Marvel. This is Dawn of Vampirella #4. For some reason, I ordered 2 copies of this. I don't know why. I must have hit the button twice. Okay, this is a Scout, Timothy Truman. Just wind it down. I think it goes to 24 issues. And this art is top-notch art. And it's funny because what year is this? 1987, I think this came out, and it's set in like the future of like 2025. I just love that when and it's like Road Warrior. There's something in my tooth, but it's just so funny when people envision the near future. Just look at this great art. Just great art. I love that there's like little tiny futuristic things, but for the most part, the only thing that makes it the future is the fact that society has collapsed. So this is Kick-Ass 1. First, I don't know how I ended up with 2 copies. Every once in a while, I'll buy something, and I don't know why I had 2 copies. But I'm rereading this. So I just finished 3, and I think it's a 7-issue series. It's so good. So 4. Okay, I think this one introduces Hit Girl. And here's Hit Girl and Big Daddy. If you've seen the movie, what my biggest criticism with the comic and the movie is they toned down the father. In the comic, he was a tough guy, and then everything about him was comic books. I don't remember, like he sold his comics to buy all the equipment, and he was inspired by all the comics. I forget if Nicolas Cage character if they toned that down or not. Okay, here's issue 1 of the Agents of Atlas. So I mean, Jimmy Woo is just he's Asian James Bond, and he just looks like a twink over here. That's Shang-Chi. This is Shang-Chi, the premier martial artist, an older Marvel character from 1974. And here he is, just like asking permission from like, I don't even know what this guy, Zach used to call him Gogurt Hulk, Gogurt Hulk. It's just, I don't know. Marvel just disrespects their characters. Yeah, it's just all Amadeus Cho. Yeah, hey, Yang Zhou. Amadeus Cho. Yes, what do they call him now? They call him Braun. That's his name now. Yeah, I mean the characters aren't bad. I actually like the name Silk for like a spider based. Believe it or not, I had a spider based female web based supervillain NPC in my role playing games that I could never use now in Heroic Tales because of this. But that don't bother me. It's a good name. But I just find it's not Agents of Atlas. You know what I mean? It's like taking all the X-Men and then like, oh, we're gonna put like Fantastic Four, just call them the X-Men. So this is where's number one? Okay, it just drives me nuts when they're not in order. So this actually preceded this. So this is the debut of the Asian Agents of Atlas. This is the War of the Realms. This is where they fight Surtur's daughter. So I was just like, I just love the Agent of Atlas so much. I'm like, all right, let me get these two series. Let me get how bad could they be? Again, if they were called, the Asian Team 5, that would be fine. But this isn't the Agents of Atlas. When I get the Agents of Atlas, the premise of the Agents of Atlas is Jimmy Woo gets the 50s team back together. They're all old. The human robot doesn't age. The gorilla man, he's cursed to be an immortal gorilla. Marvel Boy is an alien. Namora is Submariner. He's like an 80-year-old mutant that never ages. And Venus is the goddess Venus from Greek mythology, although she's not. They changed her story in the comic, but she's an immortal siren. So they could all be, and then Jimmy Woo went through a whole convoluted thing where he's young again. So but this isn't them. It's like buying the Justice League and then you open it up and it's the Transformers. It's not the team that I wanted. But like I said, the art is really good. Who's the art? Yeah, Pac, Lim, and Blee. So it's just full on segregation Marvel. All the Asian characters, all the Asian writers, all the Asian inkers and colorists all work together. So this is the first of the new team. Okay, so now you can see the difference. This is the last issue. So J.H. Williams III, W. Hayden Blackman, and Trevor McCarthy. So this is the team that I just really love. These Batwoman comics. And then this is the new and she's fighting Batman. Next issue, it's a whole nother story, and it's a whole another artist and everything. And it's like, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, okay. So you can see. Just beautiful. Like a lot of that was like the thing, like red and black was like the color scheme, and then everything is completely different. I don't know. I guess it wasn't selling because I think it only lasted like another issue or two. Then I read Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I'm these Marvel super specials. This is number 3. I want to read the Warriors of the Shadow Realm, but I think those are Marvel super specials like 6 and 7. So I got to read 3, 4, and 5 first because I'm that kind of crazy. So I finally, and this has been putting me off. Like I saw Close Encounters. For those of you old enough to remember this, or maybe better way to say it, those of you young enough not to know, Close Encounters was a phenomenon. There was Star Wars, E.T., I'm trying to think of other movies that were just phenomenons, but this was a big freaking deal. This movie, so it was fun reading this. It was fun reading that. And The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, number 16. I confess I skip over the Kung Fu articles and the how to kick somebody's face in articles. I just read the comic portions. The Sons of the Tiger is George Perez's earliest Marvel work. So you could see him. This cover though is not him. I forget who the cover artist is. It says on the inside front cover, but these are Marvel magazines. These as soon as we went to the newsstand, as soon as we left the newsstand, these all disappeared. There was nothing objectionable like that. You couldn't put matter of fact, a lot of this was reprinted in comics later on, black and white. it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So now that was all that I've read. So now I'm gonna go get the back issues that I just bought that I did not read yet. So this is my stack of back issues. Okay, ooh, that was heavy, and my back is killing me. Threw my back out sitting in a chair. Wait till you get old, folks. Okay, let's look. Oh, Yang Yang Zhao asked, how many spider-based characters do we need in the Marvel Universe? I don't even particularly care if they're spider-based. There's lots of spiders, like there's Spider-Man and the Tarantula, and the Scorpion. I know that they're all arachnid-based, and they could be insect-based, but like I don't like that they're all associated with Spider-Man. Spider-Gwen, Spider-Punk, it's because Silk bothers me the least because at least she's like her own. She's not Spider-Girl. I don't know. She's Silk. That's just a cool name. I don't know. Like it's like saying I don't know, but I agree. There's too many spider characters. We need more comic book adaptations of movies these days. But first, we got to get good movies. Marvel was big on making adaptations of movies, but there's no good movies anymore. I hate to sound like my father, but well, there was movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Star Wars. These were movies that like united us as a culture. Like everybody liked them. Adults, kids. Parents would talk about the movies, they liked them, and then little kids were buying Slurpee cups with them. You know what I mean? Like these movies like united us as a people. There's no movies that really do that anymore. Yeah, if I read all the articles, I could have gone Kung Fu. I agree. I don't know why they never adapted versions of the MCU, because they don't care about the printing. Marvel Comics, the printing is just, I don't know. It's like a joke to them. John Wick. Oh, John Wick. Yeah, they could make a John Wick is perfect for comic. Yeah, there you go. There's one. All right, so this is I want to get this thing. Oh, okay. This is G.I. Joe #1. I had a little Marvel G.I. Joe digest. And that was the first G.I. Joe comic I've ever read. So that was what you're reading ago. And I really liked it. It was a lot better. This is a comic I avoided. Oh man, did I avoid this. I thought I was too old for it. It was based on toys that I was too old to play with. So I avoided G.I. Joe. And it's funny because I guess I'm a hypocrite, because the ROM was based on a toy and it was absolutely great. Micronauts was based on toys, absolutely. The problem was these were based on toys that I was too old to play with. You know what I mean? Like He-Man. I never played with He-Man. I never played with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, although that was a comic first, but you get what I'm saying. So I was just never interested in this. But after reading that digest, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pick them up now. This is Evil Eye #10. So I can't wait to read this. This is the first thing I'm going to be reading tonight. I nothing else to say other than that I already said. Oh, I'm just going to move this side table over. It's hard to turn. My back is thrown. Okay, there we go. And at 8 o'clock, I'm going to have my conversation with the Tiny But Fierce. Will be here. I just forgot that she has to come on at 8. So this is Doomsday +1, Charlton Comics. This is John Byrne's early John Byrne. I think the only thing he did before this was Raj 2000 and Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch, both by Charlton Comics. You can see John Byrne there. I think this is the last issue of new material for Doomsday +1. It becomes like a reprint. It's issue 7 just reprints issue 1. And then they just go up to like 13. You know what I mean? So who knows? It's a weird series. This is going to be a weird comment, but it's got very Canadian sensibilities. And that is weird to say, but like if you read the original Captain Canucks, because I think the writer was Canadian, John Byrne was Canadian, it just feels like a product of Canada. They're roaming Canada. They go to Greenland, but they go to Canada. They're flying a Canadian Air Force. So it's like very Canadian. There you go. This is I didn't start this the Book of Resident Alien, the Book of Life. I love this series. Uh, yeah, John Byrne was born in England and then raised in Calgary, I think, or Edmonton. Calgary or Edmonton. I forget which one. And I think he moved to New York as an adult. If I'm and I don't know where he lives now. Who knows where he lives now? But I do know that he was born in England, and then I forget if it was Calgary or Edmonton where he grew up. That's why, I think that's why he did Alpha Flight. So Resident Alien, I really like this series. I like he was, if you watch the TV show, he came to Earth to destroy the human race. In the comics, they were just observing, like we were animals, like they were sociologists or anthropologists or zoologists, and just what, and he accidentally crash landed, and he's just waiting to get rescued, and he starts solving crimes because he's super intelligent. He's always been a good guy. I just missed issue 3, so I didn't read 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now I could finally read it. Last issue, he got an Earth girl pregnant. This is Big Bang Comics, a novel-length epic starring the Sphinx. The premise of this comic is they're supposed to be Golden Age superheroes. I think they mix some. I keep saying open source, but that's not the correct word. Public domain. I think they mix a couple of public domain superheroes and original superheroes, and then since it's Image Comics, they like last issue, the Savage Dragon went into the past and things like that. It's filling like this hokey Golden Age. I don't know. I'm going through like a just chill, relax, and enjoy comics phase rather than like I need to know cross this T, cross that I, so it's like lighter. Don't take it as serious. Again, the Back to the Savage Dragon. Rich Butler. Wow, Rich Butler. This must be one of his last works. Rich Buckler. I'm saying his name wrong. Oh, Byrne lives in Westport, Connecticut. Marcus, if you're not driving, can you correct me? Was Byrne born in England and then raised in Canada? But this is Rich Buckler aping like a Jack Kirby style. I just get a kick out of it. And then look at this, some Golden Age horror stuff. Dr. Weird. I think Dr. Weird is a public domain character. Terror in the Swamp. This is Stephen Bissett. He draws all of those squiggly monsters that you used to see in Swamp Thing. I just love Stephen Bissett. Okay, we got Eric Guapo. Byrne was Canadian and immigrated to the USA. He even referenced it when he talks about his run of MOS, an alien who adopted the U.S. morals and lifestyle. Oh, cool. See? All right. Yeah, I like Bob Hope. I do think he was born in England and then moved to Canada. Well, Bob Hope didn't move to Canada, but Bob Hope and John Byrne, I think, were born in England. I'm continuing with this DMZ. Again, the premise is paper thin. There's a civil war, and for whatever reason, you can't go into New York and go out. On when you examine the premise, it falls apart. But it's just well written, and I like the characters and everything. So, I mean, what they really should have done is instead of Manhattan, they should have made it Cuba. You know what I mean? Or Puerto Rico or something like that. And into that. But I don't know. I like it. I do like Brian Wood. So I'm going to finish this, and then because I read Northlanders by him, and then I picked up this. And when I'm finished with this, I got a big stack of Rebels. It's a Revolutionary War America. So, and I'm sure at some point it's just going to get super woke. I mean, this is only 2005. Tarzan, it's Tarzan. This is the original Tarzan run. I read the first 2 Tarzan novels. Oh, okay. Marcus backs me up. Cool. He was born in England. Okay. Old facts I can remember. Since my car accident, new facts, they ain't landed. My brain became fact resistant. Just slipped right off the noggin. It's funny. I keep talking about superhero names and supervillain names. I keep having this name pop into my head. Doc Noggin. Doc Noggin. So in the chat, everybody watching, describe how you would make Doc Noggin. Good guy, bad guy. What would his powers be? What would his costume be? Go. But anyway, Eric the Guapo, Eric the Handsome. Goodness, gluten-free bread tastes like sand. Yeah. If you're gonna eat, this is my philosophy. If you're so concerned about like something, just don't eat it or eat less of it. You know what I mean? I want to eat. You know, like if you're a vegetarian, don't eat those products that make it look like meat. You decided not to eat meat. So like I got no problems with like a veggie burger. Matter of fact, every once in a while I crave, you know, it's just like all vegetables and a patty and you know, like a whatever garden burger, but they don't look like burgers. I will not eat those chemically induced meat chemical products that looks like meat. No, if you don't want to eat meat, commit to the bit. You know, and if you're gluten free, don't eat the gluten free bread. It's all bread is just like 100% gluten. I make a comic villain because the name gives me the giggles. I forgot that I even asked you to do that. Doc Noggin. All right. I made a reference to him in my role-playing game, like just as a passing, they met like a superhero. And they were talking, where were you? Why are you delayed? And I didn't expect them to ask that question. So you got to say stuff on the fly. You know what I mean? So I said, oh, I was delayed because I was battling Doc Noggin. And my friends all thought that was a fun name. So I've never wrote up the sheets. They've never encountered Doc Noggin, but it's just been a name that I've thrown around, like behind the scenes character that he's been talked about, but he's never formally been in the game. I want a breakfast like you posted last week. Oh yeah, I might go tomorrow. Tomorrow's my last day. My last day at home. My wife is going to the office. I just have to stay to sign some we're getting registered letters for my mail it's from her family in Canada. You know, family members died, so she's getting, I think, some jewelry, so that's coming tomorrow. So we have to sign for it. So I'm waiting for that. As soon as that comes, sign for that, and I'm going back to that place tomorrow as my final meal of freedom before going back to work. So yes, so I will get that. That meal is called the what is it called? The farmer's breakfast. Farmer's breakfast, is that what it's called? And what I didn't post in that picture, it comes with eggs, comes with hash browns, ham, bacon, potatoes, and a stack of pancakes. The pancakes showed up after I took that picture. Are there any rules for joining the stream? No, the only rules is I keep it family friendly. You know, I don't tell my guests not to curse, but I like to imagine that you could watch this with your kids because it's just me talking about Spider-Man and X-Men. You know what I mean? So that's the only rule. Keep it family friendly. I like it if I could see your face. You know, this is a proxy for like human contact. I like, you know, I said that I have a rule that no avatars, and then RJ from the Fourth Age, I don't even know what he looks like. I've been talking to him for 4 years. I don't know what he looks. I don't want to know what he looks like. Like I said to him, it can only be disappointing. So somebody called me on it. You're a hypocrite. And I'm like, yeah, you know, RJ's grandfathered in, you know. So if you want to come in, I want to see your face, because one of the things I do is I look at your face and I can tell if I'm talking too much. I can tell if I'm being boring, or, you know, if you don't want to talk about it. If you have an avatar, like, it removes that human aspect. But anyway, let's talk about Tarzan, baby. Can you wear a mask? Like what like Cecil used to do? So this is the original run on Tarzan. I bought one, and I was like, this is gonna be worth. So it was the first comic I ever speculated as a little kid. So I bought 2 copies, and I begged and borrowed them. It's one of the first comics I ever begged because something told me it was good. These comics are worth like 50 cents, and I never read them. So when I was inventorying my comics, I was like, you know, I never read. They're so much fun. So I'm going to continue with Tarzan. It was so much fun. This is the last and most current Damage Control series. So this is from 2022. So this has the distinction of being the most recent Marvel comic I've ever bought. So let's see how this is. This cover, I don't know, Marvel. I was gonna say this guy looks cool. He looks tough. That's good to hear. But then Jimmy Woo just looks like, I don't know. It just doesn't look like Marvel comics, you know. And then Foodies. Okay, that's a decent cover. That's a decent cover. Okay. I just noticed this. I thought this said LGBT, but it says LGY Legacy 18. So they're counting all the miniseries as if they were one long series. I kind of like that. I got no problem with that. Have the limited series number, but then have the correct legacy number. Okay, and then look at Jimmy Woo's worried. All right, that's not that bad. This Loki mask is pretty cool. The Sentinels. I will go on records and saying I'm absolutely 100% sick of the Sentinels. I think the Joker is my least favorite DC villain. Just overexposed. Put a moratorium on the Joker for 5 years. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm on a moratorium from DC, but the Sentinels, I am just tired of them. And I once you introduce a government robot that hunts like species of humans, you're in a post-apocalyptic world. Like the Sentinels have, to me, like does the government use the Sentinels? Like weren't they like a rogue agency that never really, like, they were trying to become part of the government and they never did? So once they're part of the government, it's just like, okay, the government is a dystopian government, and that once you cross that line, it's no longer Marvel Comics or whatever. Marvel Comics is supposed to have bad elements, but it's not supposed to be the government is bad. There's always that rogue senator, that rogue, not that the whole government is bad. It can't be a modern Marvel comic without food. Centennials were only good days. Yeah, the Days of Future Past, great story. I am sick of it. Tired of it. Gargoyles, I got 1 and 2. I really liked them. I got like a couple of the side one-shot stuff like that. They went incredibly woke. But one of the things about me, that's a great cover. One of the things about me is if I miss an issue, I still buy it. But I don't read it until I get that missing issue. So these may be like incredibly woke. That's a great cover too. I really like that. But now that I could read them, I could get caught up and then say whether or not I want to continue reading or not. It's on the chopping block. The Marvel Gargoyles comic was outstanding, and I think it was some of Amanda Connor's first Marvel work. This was an issue that I was just missing. Look how great this art is. Look at that art. It's so good. This Batwoman was really, really good. Yes, she's a lesbian. Again, you can be black, a lesbian, and not be woke. This was really, really good. But the show really, really tarnished the character. So this is the new team. This Mark Andreyko, he wrote Manhunter, the female Manhunter series, which I really liked. Again, that introduced some diversity, but he was a good writer, so you could get away with it if you're a good writer. But you can see it's a different team. That's a good cover. And I think these are the last issues. Good cover right here. Yeah. Okay, yes. So 30 is the last issue. Good cover. This is the annual that I think they finished the story that they just stopped. So that's Mr. Bones, and they didn't even use the original art, the original writer and artist. So somebody must have been like, "Hey, dude, we got to finish that story." I just don't like that when you have a commitment. You can have a multi-part story. You got to finish it. Like I just hate when a comic gets canceled and they don't finish the story. So good on them. All right. This is Jupiter's Legacy 2. I was missing this issue, so I just realized he looks like Matthew McConaughey and William Dafoe formed together. The Batman, yeah, the Batman covers look amazing. They do. They really do. This is Frank Quietly. So now I could go and read this. I'll finish Kick-Ass. I'll probably finish Kick-Ass tonight and then go on. You know how I know Mark Miller is such a good writer? Because after I read a Mark Miller story, I want to work on my own stuff. I'm like, oh man, that's such a good idea. Yeah, yeah. So I really, really want to work. I really want to write. You know, after reading Mark Miller, he's one of the few writers that just inspires me to like work on my own stuff. And I got to say, I haven't done anything for my own comic in a week because I was so concerned about, you know, my real job that pays the bills. You know, if I don't have this real job to pay the bills, I can't make a comic book. So, you know, I messaged everybody. I said, you know, I'm not going to be pestering anybody for a week, you know, because I have, you know, real adult stuff to do. This is Brit number 8. Yeah, 8 and 11. So I could read 8, 9, 10, 11. You know, Robert Kirkman characters. He's set in the Invincible world. I think is Brit in the Invincible cartoon, but he's just an old tough guy. His only power is he's invulnerable. He's not, you know, he's strong as a fit guy, you know, but he's not particularly super strong or anything like that. So I just love it. They like put him in a catapult and throw him at the enemy, you know, and he just fights until, you know, how do you beat a guy who's like totally invincible? Well, you suffocate him. The last bit of Fantastic Four from the James Robinson run, Sharon Ventura, she's now the bad guy. The art is really good. It's Leonard Kirk, who I really, really like. I think I was introduced to Leonard Kirk in DC Supergirl. Really, really like Leonard Kirk's artwork, but this is really dark for Fantastic Four. You know, it's just like you know, there's a reason I think it only lasted 14 issues. James Robinson just is, you know, you got to put your Fantastic Four through their paces, but this is just like dark. What do you want me to say? You know, Spider-Man rescuing the Human Torch. Okay, now they're back in the blue. So this is his last issue. So I think everything's joyful and they're restoring everything back to normal. But it's like the Fantastic Four loses custody of their kids. They're bankrupt, you know. And it's funny because it's all the stuff that I said, you know, how does the Fantastic Four launch rockets in the middle of Manhattan? How does the Fantastic Four have an interdimensional portal in the middle of Manhattan? And then they address it and you're like, oh man, I don't like when the real world, you know what I mean? Like there's a reason why you don't want your real world explanation. Somebody recommended this to me. I forget who recommended this to me. I think Oscar Carano, my artist and colorist, but I don't remember who. But this looks totally awesome. Look at that cover. Just look at that. I can't wait to read that. So this is 1 and 2. I don't. Oh, okay, this is Brit, so it was out of order. So this is number 9. This is the Wolfman. This character's an android. There's Invincible. It's fun. This guy Brown, Robert Kirkman was writing it, and it was just a lot of fun. And then Brown took over, and there was just 2 issues that were just awful. But then I think he got the kinks out, got the bugs out, you know, and then just whatever. Maybe Robert Kirkman gave him some pointers, but it's good again. This is an issue of Savage Dragon that I'm missing, so now I can continue reading it. And it's this, you know, again, this is my compulsiveness. Like I should be dropping this comic. I don't even like it, but he's determined to go 301 issues to be the longest running comic book. And I guess I've been with them for so long that I'm going to go with it. I mean, it just degenerated into full on filth porn for a while. I thought I was done with Brigade, but then I saw I was missing issue number 2. Maybe I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that's why it was so hard for me to understand. Maybe because there's Brigade, the miniseries, then there's Brigade, and I think I mixed up the comics. I think in this particular case, I think I messed up, and I got the limited series mixed up with the long run. So I'm going to put them back in order and give it another chance before I talk about it being unreadable. So there you go. I'm admitting my mistakes. This is 2001: A Space Odyssey, not Oddity. That's David Bowie. I'm just going a little faster now because I want to be done before, because 8 o'clock. I got Tiny. I want to see if she's messaging me. Okay. She didn't message me. Okay. All right. My friends, they know I'm live when they start sending me messages. But this is Jack Kirby during 2001 Space Odyssey. It's funny because I have issue 8. I've had issue 8 for like 30 years, and I never read it. And I didn't even know that it was the first appearance of Machine Man. He was called Mr. Machine. And now its value went up. I think they announced, like, is there going to be a Machine Man movie or series or something like that? So I could continue reading it. So I got 7, and then I got 8 in the back room. Here's Mr. Machine Man. So I don't even know how they introduce him into the comics. Okay, these are they don't have the numbers here, but these Epic Illustrated. So this is a Marvel, trying to get some of the heavy metal audience. These are excellent. Look at that cover. John Bolton cover. That is just excellent. Really good. I can't wait to read these. I just gotta, okay. So this is number 10. Okay, here's the number. Look at this Barry Windsor Smith. Just beautiful. Look at that. Featuring Holocaust by Neil Adams, with a special interview with Barry Windsor Smith. Man, I could just look at that all day long. That is just so good. Somebody asked me if Barry Windsor Smith was the best Marvel artist of all time, and I'm going to say he's up there, but I'll be hard pressed to say who's the best. To me, it's Kirby just because of everything. But look at this cover. Wow, I didn't really look at this. Number 6. Does it say who did this? Neil Adams. Okay, I could see his signature right there. Oh, I could see his signature right here. Look at that. Beautiful. Yeah. Can't wait to read these. These look so good. In this issue, Arthur Sidem, Tim Carmen, Trina Robbins. Look at this. This is number 8. Look at that. These are, I read the first 5, so this is 6 to 10, and then I have like 20 to 35 in a box someplace. So this is number 9. This is Conrad. Look at that. That looks gorgeous. In this the climax of Metamorphosis Odyssey, the beginning of an all-new Weird World adventure. Oh man, more Weird World. Weird World. I was, and Warriors of the Shadow Realm, I was like obsessed with before even Tolkien. And my friend was like, "That's ripping off the Lord of the Rings." I didn't even know what the Lord of the Rings was. I first got introduced to the Lord of the Rings in the Ralph Bakshi Hobbit and the movie. And this, for some reason, I got a issue. Oh, this is issue 1. Oh, I got issue 2. Okay, so now I got issue 1. I don't know where issue 2. I think somebody gave it to me. A couple of people. Every time I see them, they just give me bags of comics. So I think that's where I got issue 2 from. And couldn't read it, so I gotta read it. So that's that. I'm gonna shut this down now because it's 5 minutes. I'll be back with Tiny But Fierce. She does some cosplay, and I think she lives out in LA, and I think she's just afraid of traffic. So I was like, yeah, I'm not working. We'll do it later. So I'm going to shut this down now, and I'll be back in 5 minutes. All right. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you.